Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Let's grab a snack, let's grab something to sip on, because royalty, we have a lot to cover today. And it all starts with what is empathy. I would read the definition, but maybe a different episode, and I might break it down and even go through important parts of history where we have needed empathy the most, and also another episode with why Martin Luther King Jr. was an amazing man, and also why we needed the Civil Rights Act. Because remember, some of your mommies and daddies went through it, and sometimes some of them are not telling you how they dealt with it was because they were on the wrong side of history. This episode is dedicated to empathy. The one thing that a lot of Republicans don't have. Yeah. And also why, especially a lot of African American women, we refuse to have empathy for the person who passed away. It's like, okay, I'm going to just start off by saying no one deserves what happened to him. No one deserves that treatment. Okay, no one, absolutely no one. Even my worst enemies, even the people who treated me like garbage and dirt, no one deserves it. It's like, to me, I'm like, well, I was about to say karma, but then some people are like, ooh, well, karma, like, yeah. So, yeah, I'll just say no one, like, other like okay petty drama, because yeah, that's past petty, like petty karma will catch up with your worst nightmares and stuff like that. So just be patient, because petty will often be your best friend if you just be patient enough. Trust me. Like, yeah, if you knew how many, like, oh yeah, this year so far I think I met 5 men who have tried to date, like, they acted like they were gonna be like my Prince Charming, or they want to date me, or they were only trying to sleep with me, blah blah blah, whatever. Yeah, it's like, and these are years ago, but now all of a sudden they're calling me up, like, this year 5. I think last year was like 2 or 3. It's like this happens like almost every year, but it's just crazy how this year it's like I the women are just kind of, I guess we're like, we're so irritated and frustrated that men are like, oh dang it, I gotta go back to the leftovers, or I gotta go back to the women that I tormented or mentally abused in my past, or whatever, or used up, or I was verbally, like, blah blah blah. So, but yeah, and it's really funny how a lot of those men want empathy. Even though they treated me like garbage, they want me to have empathy with them and compassion for them, and they want me to treat them like it's just crazy. They want me to treat them with so much respect, and they want me to just treat them like they are one of the best men in the world, even though I know they're dogs, even though I know they're awful, terrible human beings, even though I know some of them are ended up being, they're bigots. They want to date a black woman, but then they're a bigot. And oh, that reminds, yeah, I just blocked a guy on Facebook because he was really funny. He was trying to have Charlie Kirk's back and everything like that, and so I let him know. I was like, okay, well, if you think that, and I gave him two of my cents, and he was like, you don't know me, you fool, blah blah blah. He kept calling me, like, that's the only word he could think of was fool. And I'm like, okay, for one, you need like a dictionary and education or something. And he was like, there's a difference with education and intelligence. Well, yeah, it's like that. He doesn't know the difference with there, and there in one of the sentences that he wrote. And then there was a few errors that, and I'm just like, yeah, yeah. I know you're poorly educated. I know that much, but it's like he's the kind of guy who thinks that I'm gonna have empathy for him, and he has mixed kids. So he was like, well, I can't be a bigot. It's like I have mixed kids, and I was like, slave owners had mixed kids too. what's your neck? Like, I don't know. It's like a lot of men try that. And some of the guys in my past who they said they can't be racist and try to say like some excuse like that. And it's just like, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Then he tried to call me a bigot at the end. And I was just like, you know what? You and your little mini bigots, it's like you have, because the way like but he wanted me. It's like he acted like he wanted me to have empathy for him, for having empathy and caring about like the whole situation. And I'm just like, okay, I don't agree with you. Do you, boo? But I don't agree with you. And if you're going to get mad at me because I am not going to be empathetic to the person who has, he said Martin Luther King Jr. was a bad guy, and he said that Civil Rights Act should not have been passed, and how it made black people bad or worse or whatever. And also some of the things he has agreed with some of the other like racist, bigoted influencers online. And then what he said about African American women. No, 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 no. So, okay. I say all of that because, okay, I'm going to share who I'm going to be empathetic to. And again, some of these people are going to be people who think that I'm the enemy. Because I'm going to start, like, especially like with the whole election and everything, there are Hispanic people who are scared of being deported, especially after the Supreme Court like basically made it legal for cops to be able and ICE to pull you over based off your race. I have empathy for them. I have less empathy for those who voted for it, but I still have a little empathy for them. And I especially have less empathy for them because they like with how some of them talk about black women, and even like talking on dating apps and things, how many of them told me that black women are stupid or black women are just useful for one thing or for one night and things. Yeah, I'm less empathetic, but I'm still gonna have I'm still. It's like, especially if you have kids, I feel bad because for the kids, not exactly, the empathy doesn't go for them for that, because that part's only for the children. But it's like I understand like the fear and the unknowing of where they're gonna go and how they're gonna survive, or if they're gonna run into the issues and problems that they ran to America for. That's what I have the empathy for. And so it's just like Miss that Kirk guy. It's like I'm low on empathy with all of the other. Well, okay, I'm just gonna keep going because the disability community. I mean, that alone, because now, like, especially with Texas, they're slowly trying to take away disability rights. And then also with Medicaids and Social Security and things like that, like, and people on disability, like, we have no idea what's going to happen. And it's like for some, how they're going to survive. And it's scary. So I do have, and the sad part, like I have less empathy for the people who voted for this, because if you voted for this, then hey, you're getting exactly what you wanted. But those with a disability who voted the way I voted and knew what was to come if we ended up like, yeah, mm-hmm, that's where a majority of my empathy is when it comes to people with disabilities, because we just want to live our lives. And the crazy part is that it's like I have a lot more empathy for the disability community because we still have rights that we're trying to ask for, because we just want to be independent too. It's like they want us to stay at home, and they don't want us to work, but they expect us to work, and they expect us to make a certain amount of money and all of this other stuff, but then they call us lazy, or they say, oh, it's just a bunch of like able-bodied 20-year-old men playing video games all day, and it's like, hello, have you met us? Have you met us? And I know during Biden's administration, for one of the anniversaries with disabilities, I believe it was to celebrate the 20th or 25th anniversary of one of the most important disability laws to take place. He invited a lot of the disability influencers, which is absolutely amazing. Do I think the orange guy is going to do that? No, I do not think so. The way he has mocked us, and especially, well, well, when one of the, well, okay, I'll get to the Fox News people later, but with how, oh, the older millennial, yeah, he literally said that they need to throw those with disabilities over a mountain. But then they say that Democrats are the violent ones. But they said, like, he said that they need to throw the disabled people over a mountain. Tell me okay, especially if you're MAGA, if you're Republican, how is that not violent? And what did the disability community do to you? It's like they keep saying that the Democrats or the liberals are the like the harmful ones, the violent ones, and everything like that. But it's just like you guys want to throw the disabled community, especially some of us. We were born with our disabilities. That's not fair. We didn't. But then you say you're against abortion. So are you against abortion or disability? Because especially those that were born with a disability, it's like, so you wanted us to be born, but it's like, wouldn't it have been easier to just, I mean, to abort, like if you're going to not want any kids with disabilities, don't, yeah, I don't know, it's just, I know, it's like, and I know I'm bringing up a topic that is kind of uncomfortable, but in reality, it's like they expect, or that's what, like, so I, he's not the only Republican I've heard this from, but he's one of the more well-known ones. And so it just kind of bothers me because they're against abortion, but then all lives matters, but then they want to, like, some of them want to throw the disabled people over a mountain. Make it all make sense, because it's like, instead of that cruelty, want to just make more sense, like for the woman to be able to get tested to see if the embryos like have a disability. Because yes, it's like, I'm pro choice but pro life for my body, but at the same time, if you don't want to see people, because I know some people are like, oh, I feel bad when I see people with disabilities, they should just stay home. It's really sad. It's like, it's depressing. And it's like, you're not the one living it. Just leave us alone and mind your business. But MAGA and Republicans don't know how to mind their business. They just know how to bug you and keep bugging you and everything like that. That's just been my situation, especially when it comes to being in public. Like sometimes the more Republican people come up to me, what's wrong with you? Shut the crap up, leave me alone. So, but other ways where, yeah, it's really crazy. MAGA keeps saying that the Democrats are more violent, but yeah, first throwing Democrats, or throwing the disabled over a mountain. But now let's talk about the homeless. Yeah, like that Fox host. Like there was three of them. And yeah, it's like I've mentioned that black guy before. I don't know his name. I don't really. It's just he's really. Yeah, he would not, like, I would never want to meet him. It's like I hope, like especially as I publish my books and everything like that, I hope I never talk to him, meet him, or see him in the same realm. I'm disgusted by him. I am absolutely just disgusted by him. But they were having a talk about the disability, well, not, sorry, that's still on my mind, but the homeless community. And they went, like, the black guy was talking about, we we spend billions of dollars and all this stuff for resources, and if they don't accept the resources, then we should just imprison them. What about the veterans who are homeless? And maybe one reason why they are so nervous to be in a closed space, closed room, especially they don't want to feel forced in a room because their mental health isn't all that great. So doing the exact same thing that put them in fear or in those situations in the offset mindset. Yeah, that would kind of be the opposite of what you need to do. And also, when it comes to mental health, it's like a lot of conservatives have even told me, like, especially on the, like, when it comes to talking and discussing, when I was especially debating through the streaming, like the Meet Me and Scout streaming or whatever. Do you know how many Republican men told me that it's feminine to go to therapy? Maybe we need to work on that, because he says we need to force them to take the resources and blah 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 blah, something like that. Maybe he didn't say force, but he was just acting like they have to. It's like, maybe if you made it okay for people to be like, it's okay if I need these resources. I'm not crazy if I need these resources. Or I'm not pitied if I take these resources. I'm homeless, and some of the situations that I was in, I couldn't help or it was out of my control. But it's like, I, I just I just wish and hope that maybe in some way we can act like people don't have to be ashamed, and not act like, make like, we can promote it and let people and make sure people know that they should never be ashamed for needing those resources. That's why we pay taxes. But especially when I was working promotional modeling and I would see some of the homeless, and if we had leftover food, like, depending on what team I was on, is like, 'cause some teams were like, I don't want to feed it to no homeless. Like, it depended on if I had conservative coworkers and more liberal coworkers. Yeah, you know which. Because yeah, when it was the more liberal, we're like, oh yeah, let's pass out the leftovers, yeah. And so, but sometimes they felt guilty for taking it, or they felt like we were pitying them, and we're just like, no, we don't want to throw the food away, and we really want to make sure, we'd rather you eat than throw it away. And so that was the sad part, because sometimes it just, I feel like we need to do more research. And I know, like, MAGA, they can't stand research, or they always say, let's just go to the, they always want to go to the Bible. But sometimes you need to read from more than just the Bible, because when it comes to the mindset and when it comes to the habits and the culture of the homeless, and I studied cultural anthropology, so I can just say, like, there are different things within the culture that we need to study and observe and pay attention to, so that maybe we can develop more accepting programs in ways where the homeless feel comfortable getting those resources without feeling like we, like, just, have pity for them. And so once we build that kind of foundation and mindset, and we can encourage them, because we're like, we want you to be better. We don't want you on the street. We don't want you homeless anymore. We want you fed. And let's say we can train you, or even creating a trades program where it's like they can sign up and learn different trades and certifications, so they can start looking for work and jobs. And then therapy at the house or the shelter and things, so that they can, like, and if they did, like, if they're on a habit, it's like, getting them clean. So there's so many things, and it's a complex, and the thing is, like, when the black guy was just I don't know, the way he was just talking, it was just like, I know everything because I just know it. And it's just like, shut the crap up. Just shut up. It's like, you have no idea. Each person is like, you don't know their life story because some of it, we're like, we have to remember, I think it's around one third or one fourth of bankruptcies is because of healthcare. Some of the people on these streets are homeless because of healthcare, because either they lived or they were homeless, or either they die or they're homeless. They had to pick one or the other. And now some of them are alive, but they're homeless. So it's like, if we can get health insurance for all, like through our taxes, do you know how many people would not be homeless, or how many people would not have to struggle every single month, penny by penny? And it's just really sad and frustrating. And it's just at a point where we need to study it more. We need to do more research. And or are there any, like, now I'm wondering, it's like, with that topic alone, who studies that in college? Because maybe we needed a council to, or a group in, like, within politics to help create programs for or I mean, like, yeah, they can do it state by state or whatever, but maybe if you had to start like federally, where they can even give out the like packets of resources and things of how to's to it, so that governors and mayors can, create their like councils in each state or district and everything like that. I think that would be amazing and wonderful, and that would help so many people. But we got to take the baby steps. And then also, I have empathy for women who have had miscarriages or that need to have abortions. Again, I am pro life for my body, but it's my body. I should never decide for another woman what she should do with her body. And I also have empathy for the single moms, because there was one idiot that had some garbage to say about single mom. Like, yeah, she's a athlete's wife and she's currently pregnant. And I'm like, okay, congratulations. It's like, you're about to be a mom, but try not to have a bigoted, stupid, idiot baby or child. Try not to, because what you said was so stupid, because you have no idea what some of the women out here go through. You don't know how many miscarriages some of us have gone through. You don't know the pain and the struggle. And also, some of us who are trying to find a decent man to be a father of children. And also, some women who are dating men, but then once they see that they're pregnant, the man runs off, or the man doesn't want to get a job, or he doesn't want to take the responsibilities. And then you have that one pastor or whatever who had the nerve to say it takes no talent to be a mother or to get pregnant or whatever. But again, when you don't, like, if you've never heard of like the fibroids, if you've never heard of so many other different medical conditions that can interfere with the body and things like that. And also, it's like, how many divorces, like 60% of divorces when people marry, I think around 20 to 25 years old, something like that. And part of me is just like, they want us to marry right when we're fertile, when we're really young and everything like that. But then when either I'm not saying it's always the man, but when things don't work out and things like that, and if the woman wants to leave, in some situations it's not safe for her to leave because of the man, but then they want to change some of the laws to make it harder for the woman to be able to leave, because they want to make it illegal for divorce. But if she's not safe, how is that all lives matter? Her life is on the line, and then the baby's life is on the line, but then you're against abortion. But then if she dies, the baby dies. But then if she's in danger, the baby's in danger. So then you're not really all lives matter. It's just the the lives that you feel like you want to keep. And in most situations, it is the able-bodied straight white men in all reality. But for all of the mothers out there, Oh, I give, I have so much empathy for, because if you've been listening, you already know I've wanted to be a mom, and it's like my dating life has been so awful because of my undiagnosed situation, but now diagnosed situation. So I just give virtual hugs to you. I love and adore you, but we gotta stick together, and I hope one day that we can figure out what to do when it comes to women's health, because for like men think they know us, men think they know what we go through, men want to say it's so easy, but then all they got to do is either hold our hand or they wait outside and things like that, but then they say we're pregnant. Hold up, what? But then I also have empathy for the LGBTQ community, and also especially the trans community, because everything is like every now almost every time there is one of these situations, they want to figure out how to point the finger at you, which is unfair, unright, disgusting, and a disgrace. No. And then all of the hate they try to put at you, or then they have the nerve to say you're mentally, like, does it, no, like that Mace woman, oh, I can't, yeah, this, I feel the same way about her as I do that black guy on Fox News. So it's like, if they could read more books than just the Bible, because then I know it's like, even at my church, the pastor says that it's like the only book a man cares about a woman knowing or reading is the Bible. See, and it's like they don't know. It's like they have made me to a point where I don't need to marry a Christian man. It's like the more they, like, especially the more they talk about what a man wants from a woman, the more I know I do not want, no. I love reading and researching and like getting resources from everywhere else. And also, if you know your history, then you know the history of the Holocaust, when the first thing that Hitler burned down and the first people he eliminated were those that was doing the research on gender, sexuality, and the library and the gender library and things like that too. So you need to know those things. You need to know those things, because look at who they're attacking first. Look at who they're bullying the most. So I have so much empathy because I know what they are going through is just horrific and awful and terrible. And so at this point, I would have to say my empathy is getting low. And but then you have to remember that I have empathy from a black woman. So I'm probably gonna have to do a part two. Cause yeah, for the black women, oh, I know what we go through every single day. Because being a woman and then being black, I even, oh, that might be just a whole episode on its own. And the hate that we get on a daily basis. And then what that Kirk guy said about us so many times, basically acting like we are just so stupid and moronic, and that we have no place in college, we have no place with higher paying positions, and that we are taking a white man's place or whatever. But then so many people, that's not bigoted. Sometimes the truth hurts. And so then I was like, so you're a bigot too. Well, no, it's like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you guys have to realize. I'm like, realize what? And, but then sometimes I have to realize that they're saying it out of jealousy, because some of them see how educated we are as black women. Especially when I say I have 3 degrees, some of them are jealous. My ex was jealous. My ex's mom was really jealous, because everything they said to me about my degrees, about my promotional modeling, and everything that I have achieved, they were jealous of, because they were so mean and they bullied and they put me down, or they said out I only got anything and everything that I have worked so hard on because I am black. And it's not fair and it's not right. Thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Women Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too.